Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
What's going on, party people? How are you?
Good.
Good,
Very good.
good. All right, it is us right now. Recording button. All right, I am excited. Look at all these faces here, Coach. I am ready to go. I'm so glad you're here. You guys, I've been wanting to do this a long time. So with this year as it's gone, good and otherwise, and this time of year, it's so important to have all the new school that we know that we need to be doing in marketing tied with the old school marketing, and more now than ever, the old school sales skills.
You used the word old like 3 times, and I know it's because I showed up.
Oh, not at all. No, the skills that are needed that work
Season.
today never go out of style. And you guys, I am just honored. I am blessed to share with you a longtime friend of mine, a legend in the real estate and coaching business. Eileen, thank you so much for being here today. I know everybody's excited to be here with you, so thank you.
Well,
Eileen Riverra, everybody.
hello, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see me now, by the way. You all see me, right?
Yes.
We
Okay.
got you, Eileen. That is
Yes.
definitely a user thing. I'll let you handle that one.
So congratulations to each and every one of you that you have the good fortune to work with Don Jacks. I'm sure that you know that he is one of our senior coaches. He is phenomenal. Really, you are all very fortunate. And certainly not just with technology, but with a whole lot of things. He's my go-to person. So that I get that's saying a lot, right? Brilliant in the business and also just an exceptional man, an exceptional human being. And say no to people. Like, I don't know you guys. I'm sure you're all wonderful, but I'm here because of Don Jacks is really what I want to say. And I'm old enough. I don't have a lot of trouble saying no to people. So again,
Thanks, Eileen.
congratulations. You're all super lucky to be together and with him. I love geo-farming. I've done it for years and years. I did it because my coach, Mr. Tom Ferry, once upon a time told me that was the way to build a business versus at the time I was just being a salesperson, right? Like I'd get lucky. A friend would want to buy a house or this or that. It was sporadic, and farming allowed me to build a business. If you're like me and you're forgetting that you're not on mute and somebody in the background is talking, please remember to mute.
That's you.
That's me. That's
An
Tara.
echo.
Is there 2 of me, Don? Don, get rid of one of me if there's 2.
No, I only see one of you, Eileen.
Okay. Nod your
There
head.
you go. I think I got it. You're
Yes,
set.
with my thing down. Oh, well, shit. Okay.
Eileen,
Yes.
you're good.
Okay. The echo's gone.
Echo's gone.
Okay, cool. How many of you, so Don, I see 3, 6, 9, 12, about 15 of us or so on here, is that correct? Or is there another window that I'm? Now I don't hear you. Don Jacks, you have to stay.
We have 21 of us on the line right
awesome. Okay, so I start with Diane through Richard, through Peggy. Who can show me by a show of hands who currently does geo-farming? Anybody? Oh, yes, yes. Okay, fingers, how many years have you been doing it? The 3 of you who I just saw. 2 years, 2 years, 3 years. Very good, very good. Okay, so for those of you that are considering it, here are the most basic rules I have when someone comes into my schedule, like specifically saying, hey, can you help me with geo-farming? You have to do the math first. Right. So if you pick a zip code 10463 and you're going to do from this street to this street and this street to this street, you need to contact your title rep. You need to do your research. How many doors does that geographic area encompass? Okay. And now you need to figure out, so if you're going to mail twice a month into that farm, how much is that going to cost you? Don't start with the fun stuff. Start with the math and the money. Okay, because what happens is sometimes you start with the fun stuff and it's fun and you have a good time and you think it's going to work, and then you realize you can't afford to underwrite what you started, and you just wasted a bunch of time. Now, there is no doubt in my mind that almost anyone on this call can become very successful with geofarming, because you're with Dawn, you're with me right now, and what the ecosystem will support you with resources like experience and people that are doing it. But it takes time, right? So you have to do the math first. I have farmed as many as, and I have, Dawn probably knows, I don't. I think people like Josh Rubin send 100,000 pieces out a month or something. I've never been in that league. At my biggest number, I was farming in one zip code to about 7,500 houses. I think I've not I have not completed my business plan, but I think next year, where I've been paring down and where I'm paring my farm down to, is probably going to be closer to 3,000. And that 3,000 get touched twice a month. So the money adds up. So if you're new to farming, even if you have, nice piles of money sitting in the bank, I want you to make a plan where you say, here are all the facts, here's all the math. I'm going to mail to 2,000 homes. These 2,000 homes have this percentage of turnover every year. I'm going to put last year on my spreadsheet, and I'm going to say how many houses sold in this farm that I've just identified. This is how many houses sold. And then I want you to have 2 additional columns for each year, and you're going to put in the lowest priced home that sold last year or this year, and the highest priced home that sold in that same year. Then you're going to go back and you're going to update the sold numbers for 10 years. Because if you're new to farming in this area, even if you live there, if you're new to farming, I want you to accelerate the expertise. And even when it's a tract community, even when it's a development, that there's not, the kind of cookie cutters, there's still a high, there's still a low. And if you look at 10-year history, you're going to be on a listing appointment in February and think of me, where you say, well, historically, blah, 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 blah. Well, I understand everybody wants to know what's right now, and we can all pick up our phones and find out what's right now. But Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I want you to know that I understand the historical factors that go into protecting your equity. I'm so interested and so curious in all the nuances in our community that I'm always playing guessing games with myself. For example, Mr. Smith, I think our top dollar this coming year is going to be probably sometime early June. You kind of make up the story, but you're not really making it up, because I'm making it up now, so it's hard for me. You're extrapolating it from what you're educating yourself with, from your spreadsheets. And if you're competing with someone who's been farming the area for a while and they come in complacent because, I'm Eileen Riverra, I don't really have to prep anything. These people know me, they called me. And then you come in and you've got all the bells and whistles and you're talking about, I understand you interviewed a couple of other agents, probably Eileen, probably Dawn. Did they explain to you why it's so important to market your home up in the Carson area and the South Bay area rather than just here in the neighborhood? Because Richard, that when a sign goes up on your house, everybody's going to know in the neighborhood that's on the market. But we get so much traction from the South Bay coming into Long Beach because we're still a coastal community, but our prices are much more attractive than Redondo Beach or Manhattan Beach. I'm ad-libbing, guys. I'm giving you this because the math of farming is easy but expensive. So there's no reason you can't research 10 years. You can't find out how many houses are in your farm. How much is it going to cost you? Your title rep, if you're in California, is your best friend when you start farming. Okay? You want to know everything. You want to be in that community. Be creative. The consistency is the consistency. The facts are the facts. Know them. That's not negotiable. We're not going to talk about that for 20 or 30 minutes. If you have questions about when should I, when shouldn't I, please, like immediately raise your hand. You can interrupt me anytime.
Eileen, let me be the
Yes.
first. Melissa was asking just to get things going. How soon can, and I know the answer in my mind, how soon can someone see results from the farm? Like that are doing this and knowing
They
the
can
numbers.
see immediately, or not for months. I mean, it's not, there's not an exact, that's not exact math. That's not exact science. You have to be an expert on the community. You need to know the facts. You need to know the houses. You need to have a sense of the community. I have an agent that recently took a highest listing ever in her farm. She's only been farming for probably about 14 or 15 months, and she does everything I ask her to do. And some of it sounds ridiculous, right? Like, do you care about the outcome, or are you always going to listen to Don? Because he's going to give you great advice. I told this woman who has young elementary school kids and shows up to drop them off like I did 100 years ago, being mom, right? Like she's rushing to get kids out of the house and the hairpins and the lunch bag and the this and the that. And I told her when she started farming, right now, no more than once or twice a month, no more than once or twice a month, but once or twice a month, I want you to do kindergarten drop off. And instead of being in your sweats on the way to the gym, I want you to look like you're on your way to a $5 million listing appointment. She's like, well, why? Like, what's the point of that? I said, the point is you want the people who already know you to see you differently, right? You don't want them, they already know you're a mom. They already know you participate. You're this, really nice person. I want them to say to you, gee, where are you going? Job interview? Well, sort of. I have some property I'm looking at on blah, blah, blah street. Did you see that one online? It's listed for 2 point such and such, right? Sometimes you have to, again, we're not lying. There's no dishonesty, but just as soon as we show up a little differently, men or women, where people are used to seeing us a certain way, you get engagement. And if you connect it back to real estate, it's a passive type of marketing and prospecting, but it works. And you have to, when you're farming, you have to think of all of those things. If you don't live in the farm and you have a dog, bring the damn dog and come walk your dog in the farm sometimes. Like, be one with the people. There's opportunity everywhere. First listing I got in my farm, I was young and not very confident. And the person who the first listing I got was this old, like, I'm from New York and there's this prototypical, like, where I grew up, but like Dr. Ludmer was this little old Jewish genius doctor. And he hired me to sell. I mean, I used to tell my kids to lower their voice when they came by, because there were no kids on this block. And when I asked him after I got it signed and we got an offer, and I'm like, it means so much to me. Thank you so much. But I'm curious, why did you choose me? And he looked at me and said, because you're always so nice. Okay. And somebody else is going to choose you because they remember when you showed up in the suit. You can't get away. Did I say it about 18 times already? You cannot get away from consistency and discipline. You will not get market share in a farm if you don't have those two things. And if you don't have a lot of money, like you're feeling like, oh boy, I'm gonna do twice a month and I better get something in the first 3 months, or I'm gonna have to bail. Like, I can't do it more than 3 months. Well, then don't do it once a month for 6 months. Like, be honest with your money. And then good old fashioned, sorry for you people that look like you're about, 28, sweat equity. You get out there, you kiss the babies, you shake the hands, you talk to people, you pick up the newspaper and bring it up to the door. Right? Be good humans, be nice people, talk to people. You can help them. Keep telling yourself, help them. And if you're already farming, I'm going to show you some of my pieces. And again, I say no. I really do say no to a lot of people, but I do not ever say no to your coach. So if there's
You're awesome.
anything I
Eileen,
have,
thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Before you go there, there's 2 more questions I want to bring up.
Good.
You can answer. I'm brand new to, I love this. I'm brand new to farming and don't live in California. What do you need the title rep for?
Well, if you're not, well, they're not from California, but are they in an escrow state? Are their title records public? Can they
Becky?
look at-
Becky?
Do you have access to public records?
We do have access to public records. We don't close with title companies. We close with attorneys. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Okay, well, some escrow, we have escrow states and some places where things are public. The reason I say it's great to work with your title rep is because, and Don may like make us do this on another call because it's a whole rabbit hole. But one of the great things about, for me in California, with my title rep and farming is if I farm 2,000 homes, I want to find a niche within a niche. For example, and this probably made me more money in my career than any other single approach, is when I started farming, I got all this great information from title, and which means it didn't cost me anything. Somebody else printed it. Like they weren't paying for stuff, but they were just, sharing and printing stuff. I got these nice covers and nice paper, and I created a whole book for anybody who had lived in their house for more than 25 years. Because I was young when I moved into the neighborhood, and I thought people that are my age now, like they were all old to me. I've been in this house for 25 years. There's a big difference, right? Like now the ones that, now I'm the old one. But what I would do is I would, instead of knocking and the postcards and I would bring them this book and I would tell them, sometimes I'd just leave it there. It had a beautiful cover letter, basically say, hi, Miss Parton, Becky, Mrs. Parton, Miss Becky, blah, 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 whatever I had, information at the door. And I'd look at Becky and I'd say, I don't think we've met, but my name's Eileen with the Riverra Group, and I live over on Amelia. You've probably gotten some of my things in the mail, but I wanted to, number one, introduce myself. Number two, I wanted to provide you with this information that I had sent in for all of my neighbors that have owned their homes for more than 25 years, because something came up recently when I was working, and people that have lived in their homes for 25 years, they know it's their house and they don't really look at the county records. And sure enough, I had to help Mr. and Mrs. Smith over on, Ladera, because there was a mistake on there. It had been there for years, but they were startled when they saw it. Anyway, Becky, I don't want to bore you. The point is, I haven't even looked at it. I put it together. I don't know what's accurate and what's not, but I wanted to provide you with this as a service. If you find anything that is incorrect, as it turns out, it's not a big deal, but you do want to address it, give me a call. I'm happy to help you. Bye. Have a good day. I haven't done it in a while, so that's a little rough, but literally I had it. I have people I coach in California that I call it my 25 and over campaign.
Yeah.
Because I have, and I am getting all over the place again now. Your coach is going to reel me in. But so this is some of my marketing, you guys.
I will. Hold on. One more question. Then I want you to go, everybody wants your marketing. Hold on. How many areas do you farm at once and why? Should you just start with one? Should you start with three?
You should start what you can afford. Where you pick the farm and how much you take on should be a mathematical business decision, not an emotional one.
Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you.
So what you're welcome. So what I wanted to say back to my old people, I did. We used to, God forgive me, I'm the old people. Like seriously, the people I used to target were in their 60s, right? And older. And here's the unexpected. It's freaking genius, but it's not mine. It was by accident. I love my marketing, you guys. Tom loves my marketing. Some of you all are catching up now, but I'm going to take it. In this ecosystem, I was like the first coaching client, then coach, who was very out of the box with everybody else used to just do just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. Some of my stuff looks like this. The back is all branded and it says, my team and I have 5 pre-approved buyers looking to make our neighborhood their home. Thinking of selling? Call me for a confidential consultation. All those words are very deliberate, and it's cute and it gets attention and blah, blah, blah. And this gets attention, and this handsome guy gets attention, and this gets attention. But you know where all of my stuff that I love winds up? All of it guaranteed in the recycling bin. You know what people never throw away is stuff that's about them. So that's why if you're in a title state, if in a title and escrow state is the way I've heard it referred to, and you have access to public documents that are something that's important and you put it together correctly, they will never throw it away. You'll get called on a listing appointment 3 years from now going, God, where did this come from? And they'll pull out your little packet that you gave them 3 years ago with all their documents. Old people do not throw away anything that's about them or the things they own.
Beautiful, beautiful,
It-
beautiful.
that was like $1 million lesson when I was like, oh my God, like that was years ago. I've never spoken to these people. And there they had it out on the table, and then it happened again and again. And it was like, okay, obviously I need to pay attention and repeat this.
That's
So,
awesome.
okay, you had another question already?
I do. What company do you use? Kelly, email me. I'll send you. I know who does Eileen's marketing. She works with us at our company too. If any of you want it, or I'll just send it out. I'll send 20 people to Melissa. She'll love that, Eileen. Email me if you want her information. I'll send it out to you guys that emailed me about it.
Yes.
Well, with that said, what is the time frame you need to be prepared to farm at minimum? I know the answer. I know Eileen's answer. Your first 6 pieces. Why, Coach? Why do you want me to have 6 pieces put together?
You do know my spiel. So I say when I'm having this, someone comes into my schedule specifically for this, I say, you cannot start, these are my rules, or we're not the right fit. You cannot start farming until you have your first 6 pieces designed and approved.
Yes.
And you have to be financially able to send those 6 pieces out in about a 2-week period. So a lot of times that means people have said to me, Don knows my story with Andy Stavros years ago. How many of your people on this call approximately are in California, Don, versus out? More or less.
Oh man, California. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups.
Okay, all right. And then the rest elsewhere. Okay.
Yes.
So Andy came into my schedule specifically to get coached on farming. And I knew he had the money, and he was young. I mean, he was probably 30 and cute and very typical from New York, in case you don't know. Even though I live here now, but he was, to me as a New Yorker, Andy was kind of like the typical California surfer boy, right? Like, all of that. So I knew I had to be tough on him to help him get where he wanted to be. And what ideally, if you can afford this, and I knew he could, is we sent the first 3 pieces out the first week to hit the mail, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then the following week, Tuesday, Thursday. Then the 3rd week, 1 piece. Then he went to twice a month. And the reason for that is he's in a very, very competitive market. We all know the name Tim Smith, that gentleman that Tom's been coaching for years. That's where Andy is, down in Orange County, coastal, all of that. I said, the only way that you are going to really be able to get your foot into the farm quickly is if you accelerate name and brand recognition. Now, accelerating isn't twice a month. That's nurturing, that's consistency, that's wonderful. But you gotta grab their attention from the very beginning. So that's why we overdid it. And he struggled with it a little bit at first. I said, Andy, he wanted to intellectually show me why, like that was kind of a waste of money. Like, I'll do it, but, and I said to him, my whole goal is that by the time they get, not even your 6, by the time they get your 5th marketing piece in their hand on the way to the trash, because let's be clear, that's where all our stuff is going to wind up. On the way to the trash, when they get your 5th or 6th piece, they go, oh my God, Andy Stavros again. The moment they do that, your consumer does that, you have market share in their minds. And now we're not going to keep annoying them, right? We're not going to mail them 3 times a week. We want market share. When you know commercials, everybody, it's a weird thing in this country. And since forever, like we all have favorite commercials. Oh, the Super Bowl commercial. Oh, the Budweiser commercial. Oh, the kid who got blah, blah, blah. That's brand recognition. That's why all commercials aren't the same. If you really want to farm and you have a budget and you're disciplined and you're going to do it, but that's like a little too over the top, the only thing that you can do that's even more valuable is consistently knock as you're starting the farm. Consistently knock. And Don and I and Tom and everybody, we all have the scripts online, right? We all have books and we all know what we're supposed to say. Please be human. Please be human, right? So if you're chatting with somebody or they're like, oh no, we don't want any, and like, okay, I just want one thing. You don't want any, I want one thing. I want to tell you, my goodness, your roses are gorgeous. Have a good day and keep going. Do the unexpected. It gets people's attention. We're so robotic in how we behave and how we act. Do the unexpected. I was telling Melissa that one of my clients in Orange County, and this is a very, very much an outlier, and we have no idea, any of us, when we have something in escrow, whether we're gonna get paid or not. We hope so. But I have a client I've been working with for a couple of years who's been knocking and farming, and I mean, average price it's probably somewhere around $1 million, and he's got a $17 million property under contract. 17 million. Now, I'll be way more excited when it closes, but it's still pretty cool having it under contract. And that was prospecting, you guys.
That's awesome.
That was prospecting. Please knock in your farms. Please get to know the old people. Please get to know the kids. I have a listing from years ago. And the thing is, the stories aren't all the time. Most of the time it's just work, right? We've got to know our products. We have to know our clients. We have to be consistent. You know how to figure out the paperwork, all of those things. But please, if you're going to farm, pour the humanity to it. There's a great return. Again, some of my stories are like over the last 20 years, but I have a listing about a block and a half from where I'm sitting right now that I sold a few years ago. I was surprised when I got the call because, I don't know, not friendly, never really talked, get the call for the listing appointment. I wound up taking the listing, and it wasn't until I took it and then came back for some paperwork that I found out that her son a few years earlier had gotten in a fender bender in the neighborhood, and my husband, who is not Mr. Social, by the way, like he's not the chatty type, he's not the real estate type, he's operations. I find out, they tell me this whole story about how this kid got in a fender bender and Gary stopped and pulled over and helped them. I'm all like, that had nothing to do with the postcards other than she knew where to call, right? But that's it. Postcard, she knew where to call. So, okay. Oh, at least 15 minutes of rambling. I'm going to sit here and you're all going to ask your coach great questions where he can see them, you're typing them, and I can't.
I love
Questions,
it.
please.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. I know there's a lot of you starting this out. What questions are on your mind? Let's go. You can either type them out or unmute yourself.
Come on, show me that you're a...
You create your reality.
Okay, Eileen, I
Yes.
have 3 small elementary schools within my farm. How do I leverage that?
Oh my gosh. You take real careful note of who you know that has children that go to those schools, and you connect with them and you tell them, hey, I'd love to get more involved with the schools. It's such a draw for so many of my clients. You're assumptive with how you present the conversation, and then you start sponsoring things. And I don't want you just writing a check. I want you showing up. When you're involved with elementary schools, particularly, even the junior highs, high schools get a little wonky, but
Yeah.
like, K through 8th, there's so many things that you can participate. What state do you live in?
Massachusetts.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just there's so many things. I don't know on the East Coast. Here in California, every public school has banners up on it that realtors and insurance people and doctors pay to have those banners up. One of the things my team just recently did, actually, I think we're taking pictures on Sunday, because the agents on my team all live in Long Beach, but are in kind of 4 different areas. We got the same banner. Everybody's on the banner. We put it up on the schools. And now what we want to do is go take, because the school name is there, go take pictures together at every
Oh,
school.
cool.
So we can use them on social media.
Yeah.
But schools, yes. Oh my God, school teachers have Teachers Day, get a banner up, show anything. They'll love you. You ask them what you can do, they're going to tell you.
Yeah, my grandson's in one of them. I've already got a foot in that door, but I was trying to
That's
figure out how to get into, I don't have connections anymore at the other schools, so.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I probably do. I just don't realize it.
Exactly. And hey, we're good to those grandchildren. I have 9 of them.
No, I'm jealous. I get 2. I get a while. I need more.
Come on over, I'll share.
All right, a couple more questions. Great answer. I love the school idea. And Deb, also remember when Bob and Peggy were doing
Oh,
their
yeah.
2016 summit workbook? They outlined it all there for you. Just popped in
I
my
think
head.
that's saved on my
There's an
computer
old one for you,
somewhere.
Eileen. Yes. And if you don't have it, I know I do. Let me know, Deb. I'll get it to
It's
you.
in my Google Drive, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
now that you say
awesome.
that.
Awesome work. Love it. River
Do
is
you see why I go to him for everything? That's why I call him all the time.
it's a good thing we talk all the time. Yes. River had a good question. We're and then Melissa did too. Ideas on what to send for your second mailer of the month. River, I want you to share what the first mailer of the month is for everybody. And is it the same every month? And what's the best content you've had the most interaction with?
So Eileen, let me just expand on that a little bit. So every month I send out, I've only done one mailer, which obviously needs to change. So one mailer every month, and it's usually something topical. So maybe it's, every quarter I do what's sold in that, in that quarter in that farm.
Awesome.
Sometimes I'll do something holiday related, whatever's going on. I'll do area events, stuff like that. The second mailer is what I have a problem with coming up with content, I guess. What are your thoughts and what do you do?
If you're real, it sounds, so how long have you been farming?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. And have you had some success?
No.
None.
No, well, I've had a couple listing appointments. One of them I did not get, unfortunately. The other 2 have not moved yet, so they may turn into something.
Okay.
But from my conversations with Don and my old coach as well, obviously I need to do more than one a month to make it more effective.
What state are you in?
New Jersey.
Okay. Oh, all my East Coasters. This is cool. I like this. Okay. So what I would recommend, if you have the budget to do 2 a month and you're doing one that's some type of market update, smart, stick with it. I would do testimonials for the second one. Keep in mind that it doesn't matter whether and I'm sorry, tell me exactly where you are.
New Jersey. I'm like in central New Jersey, Jersey Shore.
Okay. All right. Jersey Shore. I kind of remember my sister sold her house not too long ago in Ramsey.
All right, that's way north. I'm in Red Bank. It's like sort of like here's Manhattan, here's Staten Island, here's where I am right below.
Okay. All right. So here's what I want you to remember. I want all of you to remember this. If you're mailing into your farm and you don't have like a recent just sold in the farm, or you're just starting and you haven't done anything in the farm, and you have testimonials on Zillow or on Google or anywhere else, you can take that testimonial, you can pair it with a appropriate, if you don't have the client's photo, I've said this for years, never had a problem with it, pair it with an appropriate photo that represents that family. So for example, if River and I do a transaction And now, and I gave him a testimonial, he's gonna put it on a postcard, but he doesn't have a photo of me, and I already moved to California. He shouldn't put a photo with my testimonial of a, 32-year-old guy, right? It should be a woman of my color, approximately of my color and my age. That's what I mean about an accurate representation. But there's a ton of stock photos. You take that photo and the review has to be real, right? For us to be in integrity, it has to be a real review. But you pair the review with the photo, it's kind of this as good as a just sold in the farm. Because everybody assumes that you're sending this to my house because you did this deal with someone in the neighborhood, right? Oh, I wonder if they represented the buyer. Oh, I wonder this. I don't care if they're wondering about my postcard. That's 3 more minutes they're spending with me than just throwing it in the trash.
Right.
So when you don't have sales, please lean into your reviews. They're very powerful.
Awesome. Awesome. 3 more questions, 2 more questions and a longer question. So, only one answer, maybe 2, Eileen, maybe 2
Okay.
max.
Okay.
Short stories on them. What's the best content you've had the most interaction with? Is there something that stands out? Or is it consistency for a number of years, Eileen? Is that the,
Nothing outperforms consistency.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Whether I need to, lose 5 pounds or gain 5 pounds or get a listing leader, nothing outperforms consistency and discipline. With that said, it's the culmination that gets the best outcome. The boldest piece that I did in the farm a few years ago. Well, I don't have the original, so I'm going to have to show you the second. So anybody that's farmed and has had some success, but like not a ton, like, you're not going to send out a marketing piece. Let's say Don's been farming for a couple of years, and every year he does, 4 or 5 in this farm, and he wishes he could get more, but you know what? Every year he does 4 or 5. So he's going to keep mailing once a month. And like, how do we help Don stand out? Because he's been doing it for years, but what do? Oh, I sold 5 last year. Like, nobody does that. So what you do is you take all of your sales, either all of your sales period since the beginning of time, or all of the sales in the farm. Either way, it's like the testimonial. It's still true. This is a piece. And this, I actually sent out this the second year, but you see this piece with all these addresses? Don, you read it for them because I can't see it.
Yeah, fact, no one has sold more homes than 90807 and all the addresses of the properties that were sold.
And I did sell all of these. I mean, it was over very many years. And then on the back, it says, because again, this was kind of the second one that went out, it says, they are entitled to their own opinion, but they are not entitled to their own facts, right? Because it says, no, fact, no one has sold more homes in 90807, right? Now, was this last year? No, this is the body of a career of work.
Yeah.
But this punk kid who just gotten his license put flyers out on a street saying he was number 1 in the neighborhood. I swear he was like 12. And that's what spurred it. No, you've sold 2 houses. God bless you. You're doing great. You've been licensed for a year and you've already got 2. And I mean, I don't think you shave, so I'm impressed. But why would you tell people you're number 1? Between this house and that house, you're number 1? But you never know what people are going to believe. And it annoyed me. And it's like, how do I combat this? And then when I started doing the research, no one came close to me because I've been doing it for 100 years.
And Eileen, that's a spin on the map version with all the dots that we've seen too,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
and I loved how teeny tiny it was. So that's what it looked like the first year. And it went out with just this. Okay. So this was real clean. This was year 2 because I didn't know how to top it. So I just I crossed out the numbers here and added how many more and said, thank you for an additional 41 houses, for 41 sales.
That's cool.
And I share that was a little awkward, a little clumsy the way I did that, but it goes back to Jersey Man there, where it's like, just don't go to the negative, just go to the positive, be consistent, get the message across.
Awesome.
might be irrelevant to all of you. I am in Southern California from New York City, and not that we're going to talk politics, but I am very socially liberal. I did not know I have a very healthy presence of the gay and lesbian community in the city of Long Beach. The community is in part known for that. And I didn't know that that community has a thing for Dorothy from Oz. I still don't know how or what or why, but I sent this out because I thought it was cute, because Dorothy in the house, right? There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. So I sent this out, and on the back, you can read the message.
Yep.
And so many of my awesome neighbors then had to educate me about Dorothy, and it was this great conversation piece, and it was fun, and I loved it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
And I don't shy away from telling the whole story. So there you go. This is me.
Awesome. Thank you. A couple more questions. Here's a long one for you. I have Diane is ready to launch this new farm. And she wants to, here's the story. 600 homes and three farms, but it's more demo. 20 plus years of more home ownership and 60% equity. Aiming for long-term homeowners, obviously. How else should I be marketing more current to these folks? What should the marketing postcards look like? How often should I door knock?
You should door knock every day that you
Thank
can
you very
possibly
much.
door knock.
Okay.
Every day that you can door knock, you should door knock. Bottom line. What I want to know, I'll answer as your questions as best I can, but what's the turnover, yearly turnover with 600 homes?
Well, that's the thing. In this one, they have 25 years plus in the home, so there's zero turnover, Eileen, in this group. We're going for the downside.
She's doing the old people campaign.
The old people farm. Yes, we've been putting it together.
I'm the old people now.
We've been putting it together for the last few weeks. She's getting
I
very
love
ready
it.
to launch. Yeah.
Okay, so she's working on this with you, and you and I.
100%. We have the database just
Oh
about
my
ready
gosh.
to go. Yes.
You should be knocking. You should be at 600 is so doable unless they're farms and miles apart. 600 is so doable. I would just put knocking on my schedule, certain hours, certain days, and just always do it over and over and over again. And I don't care if you're so fast or there's so few people that answer that you're back at my house again this week. Just have fun with it. You know, like, it's like, hey, Dawn, it's me again. I was hoping you'd be home. I'm not catching anybody today. How was your weekend? Like, just be a realtor, bring them information, bring them material, but with that target, again, if you bring them anything that's about them, they'll keep it forever. Some of them, depending on how old they are, they're not super techie. Make sure you're checking if they're on social. If they're on social and they post a photo of their grandkid, now you have insight. Always be playing detective. We want so much to do a good job. I know you all do. I know that Don doesn't work with jerks. So I get to look at all of you and know that because he has a lot of choices too, right? So I know you're all good, decent humans. Go be that. Go be that in front of those older people. It's gold. And even not so older, coming out of COVID and this craziness between the politics and the health and the environment, it's like, just be nice. And of course you weave into it the market. You don't have to ask somebody, so have you given any thought to selling your house? And would you say, what's your favorite thing about the neighborhood? That's one question, one time in a conversation, weaved into other things. If you could change anything about where we live, right? Because now I want to be one with them. I'm very, very conscious of never insulting someone because I didn't stop to think, because some people are super sensitive. So I've gotten super sensitive to not being an ass. But it's true. You never know what's good. So I'm very, very careful. But if you're asking about them, if you're genuinely interested in them, conversion becomes so much easier, and you find things out, and you'll get confident and you'll play with it. Like, I could go out and knock with any one of you today. And and be talking to someone and they could be shutting us down. I could say, okay, you don't know anybody that's moving. And these are two ways I could go depending on how it feels in the rapport. You don't know anybody that's thinking about moving, but I have one question. If there was one person that you wished would move, who would it be? Because I'll go talk to them. And just like you did, and just like I heard her behind me, like if you deliver it right, nobody gets offended. And guess what? They remember you. Right? They remember
so
you.
good.
Nothing
good.
bonds humans. Like when there's not an existing relationship, nothing, in my opinion, this is totally made up by Eileen, but I've laughed and cried with a lot of people in my life. I believe that there's very few things in life that will bond us very quickly in a moment, more than if you laugh together or cry together.
That's right. Yeah.
Those are very strong. Both those things are very strong emotions.
So
And
good.
I'm sure you could think back sometime on your life where someone unexpectedly broke down and you were there to comfort them. That's a big deal.
That's
And if
awesome.
you laugh together, which is why I don't even care being the butt of the joke. That's why I'm like, okay, if you did want somebody to move, do you want me to go talk to them first? You know, that type of thing.
Okay, if you didn't all write that down, I have to find a coach for you that has no sense of humor that you can work with. Okay. That was brilliant. I love it. All right. We have 2 more questions. Awesome. Diane, does that help? That gives us more to work on and think about. That's awesome. Thanks, Eileen. What about testimonials with QR codes linking to resume and or website?
Ask Don, he's way better at that than I
What
am. I'm
about
not a
it? Good
QR
idea,
code
Melissa.
person.
Let's figure that out. Why not? Depending on your audience, right? If we're going after Diane's crew, that might not be the right move. Let's know the audience in the
No, I'm Diane's crew. She can just come and chat with me. at the
Okay, there we
door.
go. Thank you very much. I mean, for menus, we know what to do with QR codes. Just know the audience. Your audience is way different, obviously, Melissa. So that's awesome. And then what's the average size? Oh, what's the average size of your mailers? I think we're doing mostly 8.5 by 11s, right, Eileen?
No, I vary.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I would say you want to be very, very, very consistent with your colors, with your look, what you're sending out, because it's just like the concept with Andy Stavros about if they're just glancing at your mailer and they're not like, we feel like, oh my God, they're not, people don't even read it. They just throw it away. If they're just glancing at it and going, Don Jacks, that means Don Jacks has brand recognition. That means people, so you want to be consistent till you feel like, okay, they've got to know who I am by then. And then you interrupt your own message. So let me show you real quick. See, I have all the disruption stuff out. So my stuff looks like everybody else's. Like, here's an example of what is this? Listed. No, sold. Okay. Here's one of my postcards. Don probably knows what this size is. I don't know. It looks 6 by 4, 6 by 8. I don't know.
You know what? No.
Yeah, probably 6 by 8.
It's about that big.
It's about 6 by 8. Okay. Very clean, very simple.
What's great about so many pieces you do are great, but the branding on the one side is consistent, Melissa. Every time, the just listed, the just sold, the map, the word, that all changes, but the branding obviously stays the same.
Then I do something like this. If you want to send them to a landing page. Now, again, you fancy people are using QR codes and all kinds of things. This is an old piece, but it sent them to a website where they'd log on to get instant value of their home. I'd capture their information, and then I'd put something together for them. This is one of my favorites. I don't think I read you this one. Imagine. This is one of my disruption pieces that, because you work with Don, you can steal if you want. Imagine you're ready to start your next chapter. You're thinking about selling your house. You know this is the right time. You want top dollar. You can picture the perfect buyer. You know who you should call.
That's cool.
And the back just says,
That's cool.
okay, super clean, but very different. That's the whole point. I want brand recognition on the way to the trash. And then once in a while they go, what is this? and they actually read it. That's my hope.
That's it. You guys will get this link. You guys will get this link if you want to recreate these,
Yes.
so you can rewatch all this.
So like this picture that I used on this piece, it was so funny because the guys were like, oh my God, we're like filming that they were putting stuff in the moving truck. Like, you know, I'm like, you're leaving the state. This is real. People are gonna love this photo of the two of you.
That's awesome.
And he's like, all right, that's true. We're leaving. We don't care what they think. And they let me use this photo.
Eileen, before we move on, one more question, and Melissa, I'm gonna need you to unmute and ask this question, because I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Uh-oh.
Did you do that by subdivision or just from sale one to most recent sale? I'm not, now I understand what you're asking. I got it.
Does somebody want to ask me, or is it all figured out?
Nope. The address is all on one piece, right? Did you
Yes.
do that by subdivision or just from sale one to the most recent sale?
These are all the sales I've ever done in this particular zip code, which is my farm. So these aren't my career sales. These are strictly in 90807.
Okay, so going to like my area, we are such a small community. I've got less than 30,000 people in my community. So we do it by subdivision. So my thought was, is if I do something like that, I think I would do it by subdivision. And that way those people can actually like look at the subdivision, like highlight the subdivision and see if they could see like if their house had ever sold or how many times it had been sold beforehand, kind of a deal.
Absolutely. And if you get it mocked up and you want me to look at it, I'm happy to look at it. Okay, because you know, again, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around the subdivisions and them being smaller. And here, pretty much, I think Don and this Melissa would both agree, when we're farming, we go by zip codes.
Yeah.
And sometimes the zip codes are so big that agents won't even do the whole zip code, right?
Right.
They'll take
Yeah,
zip
ours,
code.
I literally have 2 zip codes to cover my entire community. The third zip code is for mailbox owners.
Wow. Where do you
Yeah,
live?
I'm in Gillette, Wyoming. I'm in the energy capital of the nation.
Oh my gosh, you're in pretty green land, open. I like
Open
visiting.
plain.
I like visiting too,
I like
exactly.
visiting.
See, I'm not the
So-
only one, Melissa. That's funny.
Hey, it's okay. Like I said, this also kind of correlates with what we've talked about, Don, about my 430 homes over 10 years, my $100 million of volume kind of campaign that I want to start launching
Yeah.
a little more.
That's
So
That's a
awesome.
great way to look at it. Yeah.
That is
Great way.
awesome.
And Melissa, we have 30, I don't know, ladies, 30 to 50,000 households or people per zip code easy around here. So different demographics, totally.
I don't even know.
No doubt.
You may share this as well. I think you have these. Did I show these? I didn't, right? So these were like the different ones that we started with Andy, high end, you know, high price point with Andy in Southern California, beach community. But again, some agents have wound up using them kind of as also as disruption pieces. I've actually started letting a couple people have this. Do you have this one, Don? I'll send it to you.
I don't have that one. No.
Who we are is our statement about the team. We are professionals. We are consultants. We are a team. And I'm sharing this in case you want to steal any of it or like just a one-liner, because some of it I just love the like, ooh, that was good. We deliver unparalleled results to our clients. We are passionate about our community. We are forward-thinking. We look back to learn. Markets change. Our commitment to you does not. I'm resurrecting that in my marketing, let me tell you, right? Markets change. Our commitment to you does not. We create the most comprehensive marketing that our industry has seen. We make the transaction seamless for our clients. We sell estates on big lots with gorgeous pools. We sell homes maintained with love. We have created an environment of mutual respect. We value our clients. We give to our community. We sell more homes for more money in less time. We provide extraordinary value and service to our clients. We are always improving. We believe in we, not I. We believe we are your best choice. We know that a team always outperforms an individual. We are unstoppable, and we invite you to call us.
So show that again. Can we see what that looks like? That's like a mission statement, just boom, right there. That's beautiful. That is
Thank
so
you.
good. All right, with that, I don't know how much better we can get. So I think we better go out on top, Eileen. That was amazing. Thank you,
Jax,
listeners.
I love you. I respect you. Don't tell anybody else I
Appreciate
did this because I'm a no to them.
You saw my encrypted message to the crew. You know how we roll. I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for being here. This will be recorded. Once it renders, I'll send it out. Everybody will have it. Melissa Menard, I've never heard you be so quiet. It is great to see you. I miss you. I hope you're doing great.
Right, so
Everybody,
you know, I can't help myself.
there we go.
You should all have a postcard that, you know, think about where these people are going next. Let these people know that you've got agents everywhere, and that when it comes time to make that move, you can help them, whether it's to another house across town, a condo, retirement living, closer to their grandkids, wherever it is. And if you're looking for the schools, the lady with the 3 different schools, what is the one charity that each of those schools supports?
Ooh, I
Go
like
ahead and make
that.
sure that your team supports each of those schools. That's what resonated with me.
Okay, and
Oh,
now I have,
you-
I know, it's a good thing. I have
You
a
guys, my
question.
other friend, Melissa Menard, maybe I'll talk her into agent to agent hour also.
Bring it.
Oh,
The
yes.
queen of agent to agent referrals right there. I
Okay,
love
Coach, I just saw somebody's name just popped up. You have a Melissa in your group, correct? You even
it.
referenced.
Sturtevant right there. Yes, in
Is
Wyoming.
that is from okay, so she's not related to Kevin.
No.
Okay, all right,
Different family.
okay, all right.
Okay, good,
All right,
good call.
good. She's beautiful. I thought, wait, is that who? Yeah.
Not
Bye,
quite.
guys.
You guys are awesome. Have a great week, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Eileen. Bye, Melissa.
You're welcome. I love Don.